about what they can learn, even as much as they care about compensation. So I'm not saying it's more important than compensation, it's equally important. So given the same compensation level, a millennial will choose to work for a company where they can learn the fastest and the most. Secondly, is that the values of an employee who's a millennial, they see it as needing to resonate and connect with the values and the vision for the company. Now, this is not necessarily just talking about the values that are articulated on a website or a marquee on a wall. This is the culture and the values that is lived daily throughout the part of the organization. Now, going back to what kind of capabilities we need, and also the challenges of handling a large team, one other thing that I mentioned, because it has an impact on operations. This is more work-life balance related. Flexibility for millennials is more important, or is right after learning and compensation. Flexibility is the next thing that they care about. So that has a direct operation towards being able to handle flexible work time, to run a company that's very focused on achieving outcomes and objectives, and less so focused on kind of the nature in which the work gets done. So those are some of the shifts that we're seeing as a company. Those are certainly the things that we see happening in the millennial generation. And I think the positive note here is that we do see the employers, particularly those that are around this room and those that are in the Philippines, adapting to this very quickly. They care about this generation and their values. So that's something that's very important to see.
Thank you very much. More questions from the audience.
There's a question here from Lottie Abad for Philan.
Okay, so they say that what older leaders have the younger ones don't is the experience and wisdom that comes only with age. So how do young leaders subvert this stereotype, and what is the advantage of leading a brand or a team at an early age?
That's a good question.
All right, it's a good question, tough one. But it's actually we can very much relate, because film life has been in the industry for 71 years. And that's actually what we're going through right now. We have baby boomers, we have Gen X, we have millennials, and now we've actually launched a new brand, to be more youthful. That's why we're very excited to be presenting the Young Leader of the Year award, by Living Better. So very much focusing on the youth. We always say that it's not about the generation, but it's how we engage employees and develop people. So we always focus on the customer, we focus on people. When we say we focus on people, it's people, capabilities, and culture. Part of that is enabling them. Development is very important, alignment is very important. As Dexter had mentioned earlier, for the millennials, it's very important for them to have meaning in the work that they do. So to find meaning in that's alignment in film group is very important. Understanding, how my work contributes, to the company's vision, company's mission, and how we contribute to the company. So we're very happy as well that the theme for this year is Let's Build the Country, and it's very much aligned with our mission. So developing, enabling, and having the proper model, proper structure, and making sure that each employee is engaged. So that's how we develop leaders as early as when they come in.
Thank you very, very much.
Question here from Monsi Serrano for Regis.
For Mr. Lars. The challenge right now, personally, I don't want to tag, let's say, millennials are like this or like that. Personally, I've been very, very lenient with the millennials. I don't want to put them in a box. But for Lars, you've been supporting the entrepreneurs. What do you think are the challenges that you are going to encounter, or what are the things that our entrepreneurs need to do in order for them to succeed? Thank you.
Well, first of all, and I would like to include the millennials also to continue on that note. Millennials, young entrepreneurs, Filipinos are very, very progressive, more so than in any other nation that I can think of. Millennials are, it can easily be argued, more successful than perhaps their experience and their ages are justifying. So what is it that they need? They need access to, say, baby boomers, old stuffy baby boomers like myself, who have been around the block a little bit longer than they have. They need to tap into our knowledge, our experience, because I know that they are the most successful generation that I have come across since I entered the workforce way too many years ago. And that's basically why we are very proud to sponsor this recognition for the Circle of Excellence among the nominated finalists, entrepreneurial companies, and eventually the winner of the Entrepreneur Company of the Year.
Okay, thank you. Another here from Donna of WhatsApp Philippines.
Hello, good afternoon. For LBC, what is your, okay, for LBC, can you answer, sir, what do you consider SME? Their income or their, as a whole, as a company? How do you criteria your award?
Well, there are two types. If you go to the DTI, you can classify them by the labor force or the workforce, number of employees that they have, or through their capitalization. Again, if you go with the numbers of the DTI, whether micro, small, medium, that's almost 900,000 companies in the Philippines. And that's the pool that we believe is going to be powering the Philippines in many, many years to come. They just need to be more efficient, more productive, and find their expertise so they can challenge into the large enterprise group.
Economic, social, political problems. What kind of trait a CEO should have to be able to address all of this? In short, what kind of CEO can survive in our country? Capis? Anybody can answer. Thank you.
Who would like to
Sorry,
take this
good
one?
question. No, good question.
Thank you, Mr. Cornejo, for that wonderful question. I think so many values are required of a CEO, but something that most CEOs really take for granted is one, humility, and the other one is self-awareness. When you lack self-awareness, you don't try, there's also a lack of introspection. When you lack introspection, then you would only rest on your laurels, and you will not look forward and not even look towards the rest of the organization. Pretty much self-awareness is something that some people would say, yes, I have it, but actually they don't. So I think self-awareness is understated. And humility, of course.
Okay.
If I may.
Go on.
You know, yesterday I was with one of the top conglomerates in the country. We're doing a review of their 5-year plan. And this guy is a pioneer in the industry, but he said, I need to understand technology. All right? So for me, as a CEO, you must be tech savvy at this point. If you are not, you must study and understand, because technology levels the playing field. If you see fintech companies coming to the country, these are led by young people, or those guys with those that are comfortable on technologies, and they are so confident that they can compete with established banks here. So for me at this point, there's a lot of opportunity if you're comfortable with technologies. You have to, as a CEO, even as an SME, as an entrepreneur. That's why we are hiring young people. The reason we're hiring young people, because we know they can help us on technologies. But hey, even if you are at age 40s or 50s or 60s, you can still understand and try to take advantage of technology. I think that's what we need to do. As I said earlier, The Filipinos are so tech savvy and so comfortable on social media. We are the global leaders as far as time spent on social media, more than 4 hours a day. So this is your market. And because of that, even Filipinos can go out of the Philippine market, even cover Southeast Asia, even cover Asia, even the US with technologies. So I would encourage everyone to seek knowledge on technologies and how this will help your companies.
Question, excuse me, just one more point there. I think the question has a little more depth to that than just knowing the qualities of CEOs. We know the qualities of CEOs, but I think what makes that question complicated is that under the circumstances that the Philippines are today, what will make you a good CEO? And I think that it sort of goes beyond the traditional qualities of CEOs. And I think in the Philippines, to help you navigate these changes, you need to have a strong relationship in the industry and also in government. Because the changes that are happening, if you just look at it internally, you might not be able to make a sound decision because you don't have all of the information that you need. So I think that these CEOs will learn from the experiences and thoughts and insights of other CEOs in the industry and also, executives in government. And therefore, I think in this day and age in the Philippines, that is important.